In many classrooms, students compete against one another for scholastic rewards. Class activity is often characterized as a race to decide the best and the brightest. The classroom is perceived by students as a place to keep up or fall behind. Tests and examination are seen as the devices that teachers use to judge success or failure in a competitive arena. The students are ranked according to achievements. Those with good attainments are given high grades, and those with poor attainments are classified as failures. In these situations, some students are often genuinely pleased to see other students fail, since it increases their chances of gaining scarce rewards for achievement. But I think of it, aside from competition, what is another way to organize an educational program that would have a beneficial effect on all learners? Instead of competition, perhaps we can try a cooperative learning. Cooperative learning is one of the best ways that students will work cooperatively together to achieve the common goals. The aims of cooperative learning are better interpersonal relationship and higher levels of achievement for all students. The intention is to reduce competition and promote the value of cooperation and common learning goals. This topic will address these issues and determines the practicality of implementing cooperative learning methods and its value for students with disability, and those with learning problems will receive special attention. So let's describe or define cooperation versus competition. Cooperation is collaborative activity that leads to a sharing of the goods, resources, rewards, or privilege available to the group. However, in competition, it involves a contest among group members for a limited range of rewards, resources, or privilege available to the group. In cooperative groups, individuals they work together for the good of the group as a whole. However, in competition, it implies winners and losers and the distribution of rewards and privilege only to those who succeed. However, both cooperation and competition are typically used to motivate person to high level of performance and to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of groups. Another major form of goal achievement used in schools is called individual goal achievement. In individual goal achievement, it occurs when students seek to satisfy their own goals without assistance or competition from others in the group. Much of work in schools is of this kind. Students studying alone or doing homework are often attempting to achieve individual goals. Likewise, a preschool child absorbed in a puzzle is often in an individual learning situation, unaffected by competition or cooperative goal structures. In this section, we will talk about how cooperative learning procedures be implemented in the classroom. So first, we have to make decision what learning objectives and the kinds of activities that match our students. So the teacher must specify exactly what the children should learn from these activities. So in particular, decisions need to be made about whether learning objectives are to be taken from the cognitive or affective area or psychomotor domains. The other task is to determine the skills required for working together for common group objectives. The skills required for group activity, for example, sharing, assisting, and cooperating in achieving goals need to be specified. And then the rewards is best if it is selected by your students. So in this program, the teacher should make it clear to their students that or how the group members should work to achieve these goals. Another one is the group composition. It is a good practice to establish group composed of one above average achiever, 2 to 4 average ability achievers, and 1 below average achiever or child with special needs. Effective cooperation explains to students the way in which the group members should cooperate with one another. So in collaboration among students is very important to the success of procedures of this kinds. All group work involves give and take, waiting turns, contributing ideas, listening to suggestions, discussing ways to solve problems, and devising means for resolving conflicts. Number 4 is acceptable and non-acceptable behavior. In acceptable and non-acceptable behavior, we should define what is acceptable and non-acceptable behavior in a group and establish rules of proper group functioning before groups begin their assigned work. This rule is used to guide the students to accept the value of cooperation, sharing, helpfulness, and respect for others. Rules such as one person speaks at a time, or when I'm in trouble, ask for help, or we all help one another to reach our goal. So this kind of activity assists the development of metacognitive skills, particularly in students with learning problems. And number 5, in trial period and feedback, the trial procedures and give feedback to groups on the quality of group and individual performances. It is essential that individuals receive early feedback. The students should be told that there is to be a trial period when the group activities will be carefully monitored by the teacher. The teacher should explain that most students take time to adapt to these procedures and that all must develop attitudes that facilitates cooperation and harmony. So the teacher should also or should positively reinforce those features of group behavior that enhance productivity. If the procedures are not generating improved learning, then it is sound practice to try some other procedures. So this trial period should be extended as long as it is necessary until satisfactory group procedures are established. Next is the teacher assistance for students. In classroom, teacher or special educator should be prepared to give extra assistance to students with learning problems when it is needed. Students should be informed about how and when they should seek this help. Students with learning problems may feel they need to consult teachers on a regular basis, in addition to the help they receive on the cooperative learning group. If this occurs too often, it is a sign that the group support is not being provided or is not effective. Either way, the procedure should be revised, the class return to trial mode, and then the subject material made easier until group productivity improves. Last one is the evaluating cooperative learning procedures. 4 important questions can be asked initially. So, are the students collaborating to achieve a common set of goals, or is there a willingness to extend these activities into other aspects of school learning? Have the students achieved their learning goals? Do the students genuinely want to continue with these activities? If the answer to all these questions are in the affirmative, then there is a good reason to suppose that the cooperative procedures are likely to lead to successful outcome. But if it's not, and then you have to go back to trial period and feedback until you get the goal or achieve the goals. Okay, so now once the skills become well developed, it is appropriate to turn to establishing more structured programs such as student teams achievement divisions, team games tournament, team assisted individualization, jigsaw 1 and 2, learning together, and cooperative integrated reading composition. STAD is a procedure that requires the formation of 4, 5, or 6-member teams. Rewards are based on the provision of group rewards for individual learning. Points are allocated to individuals on the basis of their average achievements in the past in similar test situations. TGT or Team Games Tournament is similar to STAD, but in addition uses team games as a means to test accomplishment in groups. Team-assisted individualization, or TAI, teams are structured in much the same way as in STAD, but they recommend or they suggested to be 4 or 5 students in each team. Students are required to complete worksheets and The assignment work is marked by a student monitor, and once they achieve an 80% mastery criterion or the satisfactory level, so that's the time they are permitted to progress to the next phase of learning programs. Jigsaw 1 and 2 require task specialization and the sharing of knowledge about subject matter. Learning together is a method that relies on collaborative rather than individual effort to achieve a common goals. And last is the cooperative integrated reading and composition. So this procedure has recently been promoted and used to teach reading and writing in the upper primary school. So teachers use basic texts and students are assigned to teams composed of pairs from different reading groups. So these group activities can vary depending on the objectives of the lessons, but clearly the aim is to integrate writing and reading activities. The students edit one another's work, sometimes working in pairs or as a team to achieve the set objectives. The student write the test for the particular reading and writing session when a team members consider they are ready. And on the final note, cooperative learning works best when it is well organized, when the reinforcements are tailored to the children's needs, when there is agreement regarding the overall goals, when group sizes are reasonably small, and when there are ample support systems available to teachers. Positive effects are also observed when there is general agreement about the value of cooperation as means of achieving worthwhile educational objectives. That concludes my presentation, and thank you for your listening.